So it looks like we got a good crowd already tonight.
Hey, we got a full house, Ron.
Well, you know, when Al and Ken come on, they line up.
That's it. They're lining up. Checkmate King 2. This is Whiteworth over.
All right, I muted out all that. Can everybody?
We're going, man. We're live, buddy.
Okay, yeah. We just gotta get things muted though. We can't, we can't have that voice talking over us. So, okay, folks, are we ready?
Ron closed all 3 of his activity rings. It says on my watch.
Had a good day. Are we ready, folks?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, and welcome into DroneNation for February 12th, 2024. This is the best Valentine drone gifts episode. Full, you guys. We're not going to talk about it.
What'd you get me, Ron? What'd you get me?
Just a little clickbait there to get the show going. But listen, want to start the show off here. I have an announcement. First of all, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 last night in overtime. Congrats to the Chiefs for back-to-back Super Bowl wins, and we predicted it right here on DroneNation, didn't we?
My dad would have been heart.
We did not.
No, we did not. My dad would have been heartbroken.
I picked the 49ers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a tough year, but we'll get them next year.
One extra point. That one extra point that got blocked.
That's right.
Yeah. And the guy on San Francisco special teams, the guy let the punt hit off the back of his foot or whatever, and led to.
No, not just that. Not just that. That the last play that San Fran had, that the pass was incompleted. The guard missed the block. So Christian Jones came running in.
Yeah.
And the left wide receiver was wide open in the end zone. He's wide open.
Purdy just didn't have time.
Quarterback had fallen down, and he was standing there wide open, all because the guy missed the block. Man.
Did anyone notice the FPV flying in the pre-show?
That was cool.
I heard a lot about that. Yeah.
That was cool. They did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, really.
Ken, was that you?
Yeah. No.
Hey,
no, that was TJ.
The cool thing is,
DJ.
A drone then shown in a positive light, which is good for all of us, right? I mean, that's what we like to see.
Yep.
Well, they don't say it's a drone. I mean, we know it's a drone because we know the footage.
Right.
But I wish they would say this is what you can do with drones. I mean, people would be amazed.
Yeah.
You make a good point, Ken. If one was flying Renegade all around the stadium, they make a point of showing that, but they won't show them in a good light.
Right.
Yeah. Well, didn't one of the drones get knocked down?
That's what I heard. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Got hit by a ball or something.
They had a kicking contest or something. I don't know if it was a pregame thing, and it was in front of Bellagio.
It was a Gronkowski kicked.
Oh.
Yeah, Gronk. Oh. That's right, Gronkowski, and they had an Inspire. Whoever the video company probably was pissed.
Really?
Yeah, they had an Inspire up there, and he kicked the ball, and it hit the drone. Now, the drone did not crash, fortunately.
Wow.
But, they were all dancing around like that's something really fun.
Yeah, well, luckily, Gronk's not a real kicker, so he probably didn't kick as hard as the real guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw him kick.
He hit it pretty hard.
He can kick.
But the drone didn't crash into I don't know if the drone crashed. I know it didn't crash into the fountain. I know that much.
He can kick. He's got a leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like last times, go back to my high school days. Sometimes they would let the biggest guy in the team kick the ball. Some kind of lineman. He could kick it real hard. He just had no idea where it was going, though.
But I never was a kicker, and I played every position on the line.
I couldn't kick the ball to save my life either. Whatever.
Hey, Ron, can we stop here for just a second?
Yeah, we gotta get off football.
No. I see Captain Ray Kelly in the chat. Ray, welcome.
Ray Kelly.
Hey. I'm wearing my Adventures with Captain Ray shirt tonight. Ray, thinking about it.
I'm wearing my Ocean City, New Jersey, and
DeMarco
listen,
too. Yeah.
That's story number 1 on the list here. We're setting out all our thoughts and prayers for Captain Ray on a speedy recovery from his hip surgery today. Al just spoke a couple minutes ago off air. He said that he spoke to Captain Ray, and Ray could be going home tomorrow.
Yes.
Good.
So very
And
good
I'm looking
news.
forward
And,
to the YouTube video of his surgery. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
let's make that thing go viral, folks.
Yeah,
Get Ray's numbers up.
GoPro right here while they were doing the surgery.
I'm surprised you didn't do a live feed on the operating table.
That's what I told him.
What?
I'm here with the doctor.
Yeah. And
Adventures with Captain Ray.
and anybody who hung out with Ray recently knows that.
The hip bone's connected to the leg bone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We love you, Ray. You know we do.
We do. We
Yeah,
do.
Hopefully Ray's up and moving around real good by the time of the meetup in less than 2 months away now.
Yes.
Did you see what you got to put? I got to put it on the screen.
Put the link
Oh,
up.
Gary's got a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one, Gary.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna use that one.
Excellent.
So, hey, listen, we do want to welcome in our guest tonight, special guest Al and Ken from Palm Beach Aerial Photography, and Al from South Florida Drone Flyers Aerial Imagery here. Great guest one. Al's been on before, but always want to get Ken on. Got a chance to meet Ken at the meetup last year, so good to have the guys tonight. And I think they have some very interesting stories to tell tonight. So we're going to jump right in that in a second here, but I do want to give a DroneNation deal of the day alert here. Now, I know we may get a hard time on this one, but I had to mention anyways. I had this on the DroneNation Facebook group, pinned to the featured. Alien Drones did this review last week. The Seafly Faith Mini 2 GPS 5G 5-kilometer Wi-Fi FPV with 4K 30 frames per second, 20 megapixel camera, 3-axis brushless gimbal, 32 minutes of flight time, 249 grams foldable, only $232.99 over at Banggood. And I believe that comes in lower than some of the drones Marcus has been reviewing lately.
So, Ron, I still think it's overpriced. It really is. It's overpriced by about $232. And even then, it might be questionable.
That, and then it's coming from Banggood. So it's going to take a month to get here. And then if something happens to it, you're just out of luck.
So let me expand on that a little bit with regard to the Seafly. So I've flown a lot of Seafly drones. I'm trying to remember what they called their earlier models.
Before the Faith.
I haven't flown the Seafly
yeah.
Faith, the Faith or the Faith Mini or whatever, but I can tell you all their previous products, they just did not work as advertised, and you might as well just save your money. I've seen some video from that Seafly Mini. I don't know. It didn't look like much to me, but I know a lot of people, they just see that low price tag and that's
the only reason I'm throwing up on the board tonight, Mark, is because of the features list I said I just gave you in that price point.
Yeah.
What's the normal price, Ron?
I don't have that information.
Hey,
I think around $300 maybe. Oh,
these guys just sent me a replacement, the Potensic Atom.
That was the drone you had all the signal issues with.
I had signal issues with, so they had me send that back, and they sent me this one. I haven't flown this yet, but $299, and I can tell you the video and the way it flies and everything is going to be way better than that Seafly.
And also that FEMI Mini 2 was also on sale recently for $249. So that's only about $25 more than this.
Yeah, I would certainly buy that FEMI before I bought that Seafly.
Yeah, but if you want to see a full review,
so take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, if you want to see a full review, Alien Drones has a full review of it. I posted up on the DroneNation Facebook group. So I don't have any hands-on with this drone. I'm only recommending because of the low price and the feature set.
And my statements are based on some videos that I've seen and
previous older Seafly
models with previous Seafly drones.
And DeMarco, have you ever handled one of the Seaflies?
No.
Al, have you ever flown a Seafly?
No.
You're probably lucky
That's
man.
good.
Never even heard of
Yeah, they're lucky men. Yeah.
I flew a Ruco once for an hour, and that's about it.
Okay, there you go.
Depends on which Ruco
Well, it was the first drone I bought, and I sent it right back.
The Ruco F11, the video is not that great, but the drone actually flies pretty good.
It was 3 years ago, so it was.
Oh yeah, can't be that.
They were not that good.
Doesn't Lisa have the Ruco? Our Lisa, she has a Ruco,
so.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, she flies one.
Well, maybe we'll see it at the meetup in 2 months.
Here's the problem with some of those Amazon brands of drones is they buy from different manufacturers. It's just a brand name, right? So
rebranding, yeah.
They rebrand that the F11 series of drones, no matter what the brand name is on there, it's made by a company called SJRC in China, and it's not a bad drone. It flies pretty good and does okay. The camera quality is not near what we're used to with our DJI drones. Not even close, but at least it's not a drone. You know, a lot of people buy, like you're talking about, Ken, those kind of drones. Yeah. They fly away on people, and bad things happen.
Yeah, no, I was lucky it didn't fly away, but I went right to DJI after that.
Oh, good.
Wise man. Here at DroneNation, for Ken, now when somebody asks us about a budget drone, we still pretty much point them to the DJI Mini 2 SE. Is that the one, Marcus?
If you're looking for a budget drone, an entry level drone, the DJI Mini 2 SE is awesome. It's got OcuSync too, so that's a big improvement over the original Mini SE, and the thing flies great.
And occasionally you can find it for $299. Occasionally, $349 is the same price. Marcus, you have something to highlight here?
I do. I'm going to throw one. Our friend Bill Grace has. Wisdom. That's wisdom right there.
Bill, that's a T-shirt of the day there.
Bill, exactly. You need to put that on a T-shirt.
I'd buy it and put a little a C-fly thing on there. Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, C-fly. Again, I've never flown your drone, so I'm only joking here.
Our friend Richard has an opinion here too. Yeah.
Can't get the IMU right.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe this new one has solved all the problems. Maybe.
Well, you're going to be the one that finds out, Ron.
Well, let's get off.
Come on, Ron, order that baby.
Drones before we get ourselves in any more trouble here. Let's talk about some real drones here now. I'm going to jump right into it here. Alan Ken had a recent run-in with a kind of an uniformed security guard at the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, Florida. Is that pretty accurate, that description? Yeah. And I'm going to let either Al or Ken, I'm going to let you guys take it from here and just kind of setting the audience up, because I think this is an important story because you guys kind of did everything right. You did all your homework, you got all your ducks in a row, and you went down there and you flew legal, but yet you still ran afoul of somebody that kind of thought you knew more than you really did. Is that an accurate?
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Yeah, we got there early that morning at what is around 5, Ken? 5:30?
About 5:45.
5:45, and we had authorization to fly at 400 feet over there. And it's normally
what is that? That's restricted airspace over there.
Yes,
for like approval ahead of time.
Yes, we had to get 72 hours ahead of time. We got the approval for 400 feet. We got there. We parked in a McDonald's parking lot, which is directly across the street from the Hard Rock. And Ken and I were flying, and I had just brought my drone in to change the battery, and all of a sudden the security guard comes in with a pickup truck.
Let me stop you just for a second. What drones were you flying? A mini drone or full size?
Full size. Yeah, I had the Mavic brakes.
So they were a little more noticeable. Yeah.
So he came in like gangbusters. He had his badge on his belt. He thought he was this big hot shot.
Just like one of those TV shows. It's like one of those TV shows where the cops come storming.
Yeah.
Right.
So he says to us, you guys can't fly drones here. So I says, why not? He says, you're on, the Indian property. Well, McDonald's does not belong to the Indians there. It's I did a little bit more homework, and I says to Ken that day, I said, listen, let's not argue with this guy, because Ken says, let him call a cop. I says, nah. I says, let's do our homework first, because maybe we might be wrong. You know.
Right.
So we brought the drones down.
It was on Al's Lank account, so that's why I let him do the talking. And
well, I'll say, listen, if that was just a citizen and just somebody that walked up to you like that, I would have said, to heck with you, I'm still flying. Just like
right, exactly.
This guy had some kind of authority,
absolutely.
maybe not the authority. So I totally agree with you what you did.
Yeah. So I says, you know what, Ken, let's pack up. We'll go have breakfast. So that morning I went home, and now this has got a thorn in my side all day. That me and Ken have been going back and forth on the phone all day. The next morning I got up and I went to Dunkin' Donuts, and I went to the Seminole. There's a casino here that has the same police as the Hard Rock. So I went in the back, and I had Ken on the phone with me. I says, I'm looking for one of the Seminole police. And I find one, and he's just pulling out, and it's starting to rain. We have our windows open side to side, And I was talking to him. He says, they tried getting us, to stop you guys from flying. He says, we don't even respond anymore. He says, you have authorization to fly over the hotel from the FAA. That's the only ones that have the authority to tell you can't. So then when I came home that day, I did a little bit more digging around, and I got up the land survey of the hotel and how much land that the Indians do own there. And the McDonald's is not a part of their property. And you could fly right out into the street on the sidewalk. They can't do anything.
So the security guard had no jurisdiction in the McDonald's parking lot.
Exactly. The only jurisdiction he has is in his parking lot over there. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come down a little further the street, then it becomes the Seminole property that way. So
they own a lot of land. They own a lot of
land. They do. So then I went to the Seminole Police Department down in Hollywood the next day, because I had a dentist appointment. I said, you know what? After the dentist appointment, I'm going to go down and talk to a policeman there. I go into the police station, and I spoke to a woman there. She says, we'll have a police officer come down. You could talk to him. I spoke to him. He says, as far as I know, the authorization from the FAA is all you need there. He says, we don't respond to this. And I had a good, lengthy conversation with a very nice guy. And he says to me, he says, I'm going to give you a detective's number that handles the problems with the FAA. So he gave me his number. I called the guy. He never called me back at all, So I says, you know what? I'm not even going to bother calling him again. So now I have authorization to fly at 350 feet this Friday, and hopefully Ken will be able to make it Friday morning.
Oh, definitely.
And we're going to go there. And if that same guy comes by, I'm going to tell him, call a cop, call your mother, call your father. I don't care who the hell you're calling.
There's going to be a fight.
I'm flying.
Out there.
The only ones that can kick us out is McDonald's.
The McDonald's, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And if McDonald's doesn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Because
you park on the street. You park on the street.
Private property. McDonald's is private property. I mean, no security guard from some other building.
Of course not.
And
you park on the street.
Am I right or wrong? Did that security guard even tell you that airspace was restricted over top of this?
He says to me that the FAA does not have the authorization to give us permission to fly over there. And this is when I says to him, I says, listen, I can't educate you. I says, this is a waste of time. I says, because you can't be educated. And I just walked away from him, packed our stuff up, and we left.
There's no parking on the street over there. It's a really, really busy street. There's no spots to park.
So one more comment. When we're talking about like security guards like that, I don't know about you guys, but I've never taken them very seriously. We all saw the Mall Cops movie. About mall cops and all that. Let me tell you something that happened right here in Idaho. We had an active shooter at our local mall.
Wow.
It was the mall cops that stood between the shooter and the people in the mall, and one of them got shot and killed.
Wow.
So I have a whole new respect for those people.
Oh, yeah.
They put themselves in harm's way on behalf of the public. So
Public.
you got to respect them.
Yeah.
And we did. We didn't, you know, like Al said, he didn't try to make because we didn't know what we, you know, where we were standing. We weren't sure if we were on, you know, Seminole property or private
Hollywood.
property that they
And
have.
it turns
no
out the
control over.
McDonald's is on Hollywood property.
Right. It's Hollywood. It's not
And
even.
next door is Hollywood property. So even if you go out to the street, right on the sidewalk and stand on the sidewalk and fly your drone,
You could do that.
they
But
can't do
parking
anything
is
to it.
tough there. Parking
know.
is very tough.
But the cops and the so I spoke to I called up the FAA. That was the other thing. One more. I spoke to the FAA the same day.
I love it.
I called them all.
He
I
was
got
on
the
it.
guy's name. I got everything. I said, listen, I explained the problem. He says, we are the only ones who control the airspace. He says, you did everything right. You know, I told him I was a 107 and so was the other guy that was flying. We were both, you know, doing everything by the rules. He says, the next time the security guy comes, he says, tell him to call a cop, tell him to call whoever he wants. He says,
And that
they
security
can't do
guard
a
said,
thing.
we don't like you flying over our pool area. Well,
Right.
we're flying at, you know, 6 in the morning. There's nobody.
And
in
it's
the pool.
400 feet,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, and you know, again, how much activity could be at that point of the day, anyways?
There is
none.
There is none.
There is none. You know, we flew in the parking lot of the hotel. Remember, Ken?
Right. We
And
did that
the
3
Seminole
times.
police were in there one morning, and they were coming over to us.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how you doing? And they were looking at our monitors, seeing what we were flying at. You know, hey, this is really cool.
They loved it.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, the hotel, they just set that guy over. They must, and it has to do something. I have a feeling with RID, and they must be monitoring it.
Well, I think somebody says they use an aeroscope.
Right.
Right.
That's it.
Or even if they just saw it, right? I mean,
That's true,
cameras
too.
and
I
everything.
mean,
I mean,
it's so easy to see, and you can hear them too.
I fly with 2 strobes, you know, at night. So
Right.
Yeah, well, Ken, you can see flying from into New York from where the guitar hotel was with his strobes.
2 firehouse.
Nice.
Huh.
And that morning, I forgot to put my strobes on.
You did right.
The drone took off, and I said, "Oh man, I forgot to turn the strobes on." And I said, "It's going up. It's up now."
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
You know, although we don't get close to the building, to the guitar
Right.
building, there are people in that structure in rooms, and you know, you do see lights on when you're flying, so people could be up and they look out and they go, "Oh my God, a drone!" You know, and they freak out.
But like the what do you call it? The thumbnail for the show is Al's photo of the guitar at the Hard Rock, and obviously in this photo you've taken, you're not invading anybody's privacy. It's this wide shot from long.
It
distance.
is. It is.
It doesn't matter if somebody's in the windows or on the
I
ground or
sent
whatever.
you-
They're
I
not
sent
going to
you-
show up in Al's photo.
yeah, I sent you a link of the video that we shot that morning, and you can see how far away from the building we are.
Let me get that playing. Yeah, but
I
yeah.
got
I
a
mean,
question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I was going to say I got a question for both Al and Ken. So, you know, I'm fortunate that I very seldom am I in controlled airspace when I'm flying, and when I am, just like you guys, I get blank approval. But occasionally, I'll be in an area that I know is right on the border or something like that, and I use I used to use Before You Fly. Now I use AeroWare, I think they call it, to check the app, but I was wondering sometimes if that is correct. So my backup is always to just look at the sectional chart, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Look
You
at
can
the
do that,
sectional
yeah.
chart and see, you know, what kind of airspace. The problem with the sectional chart is we're flying drones, so we might be in an area that might be kind of hard to see exactly where exactly is that
Right.
line that you're at and so forth. But anyway, I just was curious if you guys do the same, because you're all the time. You guys are in areas where you have a potential to be in controlled airspace.
Yeah, well, this one here is in C airspace because it was Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International. And then we also have the North Perry Airport, which is Class D airspace.
Right.
But there's no problem. And there's a heliport on this property,
There it is. Yeah.
but it's uncontrolled.
And if you hear a helicopter, it's your job to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
But it is an active airspace. There are planes flying all the time. You see them, especially at night. You see them. You know, the jets up high. They're up high.
Right.
And you see how far we are, from the
Right.
hotel. So
Now, how high does he think that guitar goes?
it's like 450 to the top of the, the strings there.
Oh, so if you stay lower, well, if you even 400 feet, you're going to be lower than air traffic. You're going to be lower than the guitar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except there are some people that try to fly over the guitar.
Yes, we've had two guys that have done that.
If you were within 400 feet of it, you could, right?
No, you can't. It's in controlled airspace.
Oh, because of controlled airspace. You're
Right,
absolutely
you
right.
can't, yeah.
Precedes the other rule.
This is where the other guy that we know made the
He
mistake.
made that mistake.
Yeah.
He thought he had 400 feet more to go once he got to the top.
Yeah.
Now, if it wasn't restricted airspace, he would have been correct.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, can we see the McDonald's from here?
No.
No, we
No.
never shoot that.
The McDonald's would be to the right of the guitar,
Right, it'd be out of the frame.
but it was
So I know I'm kind of parsing terminology here, Ron, but we have to be careful when we talk about the difference between controlled airspace and restricted airspace. Restricted is usually a military.
you can't fly over it at all. Yeah. But this was, controlled airspace. And like you said, you had the two airports. They have Fort Lauderdale and Perry Airport. So
Now, when we fly down by the port of Miami, we have to be careful not to go all the way into the port because that's restricted.
that's when you get into controlled airspace over there also.
And critical infrastructure.
Exactly. Critical infrastructure.
So that's the other thing that can get confusing, and that's why you have to look at the sectional charts.
Yeah.
Or have local knowledge. You gotta have to have local knowledge.
You do.
That's
Right.
important.
So I think this is important. I think, Alan Ken's story here is a story that we hear over and over again, where people are flying, legally in any place, parks and whatever, and they're being accosted by security or maybe just Karens or sometimes even police officers, and they're reciting rules that aren't actually in effect. Like you hear this comment where a person of authority claims that they have control over an airspace or something, and we know, as far as I know, Congress granted the FAA the right to, control airspace and nobody else. Not the owner of a casino, not, the owner of a park or whatever. Only the FAA can section something as restricted airspace. So that's
the
a false
security guard told us that we needed permission from the hotel. I says the hotel can't give me permission to fly over it. I don't need their permission.
Right.
I said I need the FAA's permission.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that there are already like peeping Tom laws on the books, right?
There are.
So you can't just fly up to somebody's bedroom window or whatever.
Exactly.
Because you're a peeping Tom then, and you could be arrested for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If they caught you doing that, that's when you call the police and you activate the rule Marcus just said, the peeping Tom rules. But until that actually happens, there's no crime.
Then the cop says to me, he says, when I speak, he says, well, I know they don't like you flying over the pool area. I says, well, there's no expectation of privacy by the pool.
In public. Yeah.
I says, they're in public. If I went down there with my cell phone and took pictures of all the girls in bikinis, they can't do it.
What's the difference?
There is no difference.
In fact,
I'm getting them from above.
You can put better pictures of girls in bikinis if you walked around with your cell phone.
Exactly.
Your drone.
Exactly.
Better than that Canon M50 behind me right back there, man. That'll take some great pictures. I can zoom right in.
Or if Lauren got some of his big glass out or something.
Yeah. But also, I think the bottom line of this story, besides what you just saying, Ron, is that Al went out and did all this homework.
Yeah.
So we are ready to fly again. We actually have a map on our phones that show the Seminole Indian property zones. So, and it shows where we're standing. It's clearly another city. So, I mean, he did all the homework. He was like, as I say, a dog with a bone. He wouldn't give it up.
Yeah.
Now I'm dying to prove a point.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you going back?
It's just a
Friday. Friday
morning. He has clearance.
Yeah, I got clearance on Friday morning.
People that are doing all their due diligence are still getting
true.
tackled.
Yes,
of course.
yeah.
Of course.
But I know Ken and Al, if that happens again, you'll tell the guy to go fly, fly kite,
Right.
but you'll do it respectfully. So
Of
that's
course.
a good point.
Ron, I look at Dre's comment. He put something up there.
Is this the one?
Yes. No, not that one. Oh,
Lower?
further up.
Further up. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's on private property, but you were
wouldn't
out
need
in
no
the
because
public.
that pool area, they at night it's like a club, so you can go into the club, walk around, have a drink. Lord, as long as you order a drink or whatever on there, you're on the property, so it really doesn't matter.
No.
what
But what I'm trying to say, it's on private property, but they're out in public. We can
Exactly.
Right,
They can't
they're out in
expect
public.
privacy.
Yeah.
There
I
isn't
don't
an
think
expectation.
that,
I mean, like you can't strip down naked at
Right.
that pool and say, "Hey, don't."
Oh,
take
you're
this
looking at me.
I'm
It's
fine.
private property.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just like if you go to some place and you're in a nude beach and somebody comes by and stares at you, whatever, and you get mad at them. Well, should have kept your suit on.
Hey, for the record, DeMarco, you just drew a mental image that I didn't need at all.
Wait, Al, did you ever fly at Haulover
Only one.
Beach? That's one of our nude beaches here.
I flew there, but I
Really?
never flew over the
the
nude
nude part?
beach. Yeah, we never flew there.
Did you
So I
write that
got-
down, Ron? Did you write that name down?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to say I flew there, but I never turned the camera on her.
So
No, I never flew at the nude beach. I flew at Haulover Inlet, but never by the beach.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, there's a
So I've
couple
got
of
a story.
bays.
I've got a story for you. So this would have been in the early 1980s. I was on the
old
island of Kauai
Ooh.
doing a helicopter tour, right? They flew us around and all the really cool, looking at the cool things on Kauai. We finally got on the far side of the island, and the pilot tells us, "Hey, that is a nude beach down there."
Uh-oh.
Well, of course, you're way up there in a helicopter. You can't really see anything. But those people on the beach had written in the sand, F, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, boy.
You
Oh, boy.
helicopters.
Oh, boy.
That's
So evidently, there were multiple helicopters a day flying by.
course.
Flying by, sure, two helicopters. Yeah.
You can't see anything.
That's a
Yeah,
cool
this isn't on the agenda. I'm sure everybody's seen it where some guy in a golf, I don't know if he was a tournament, but a guy was golfing. He went to take a whiz, all in the trees or something. The drone was flying by and caught him.
Oh, I see. Yeah, what was that? Yeah, that was a golf event, right? Yeah.
He thought he was in the bushes or whatever, but a drone by just as he was doing doing his business over there.
Well, probably no worse than what happened at the Waste Management Open in Phoenix over the weekend. Holy cow!
What
What
happened?
happened there? What happened?
Oh, you guys, yeah. Oh, you just look
We
up
don't
some videos. You'll see some crazy stuff. They literally, people were like running out onto the golf course and insulting the golfers. And
Wow.
one guy ran into a sand trap and he made a snow
Whoa.
angel.
Angel.
So they cut off alcohol. They had to quit selling alcohol at the event because people were going nuts.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Crazy.
Huh.
Welcome to
I tell you, in the 5 years that I've been flying, I've only had one other problem, and Ken knows the one I'm talking about. I'll bring it up real quick. We were flying to Deerfield Beach one morning, and I'm flying by myself, and I'm flying out over the water.
I know this story.
And this is when the Ukraine war first broke out, right?
Okay.
All of a sudden, this guy comes not walking over, like running over to me. Tattoos on every part of this guy's body, his head, his face, his arms, everything. Now, I'm not a big guy. I'm a short guy. He comes over and he's like towering over me.
Wow.
And he's telling me, he says, "You send that drone taking pictures of me." He says, "I will throw something at it and knock it out of the ground." And he's getting closer and closer.
Uh-oh.
So at that point, I put my hand on my hip. And he knew what was going on, and then he started to back off. I says, "And I think you better keep on walking to wherever the hell you came from."
Yeah.
And he walked away, and that was the last time. That was the only other problem I ever had. That and this guitar hotel thing. So it's crazy. It really is. There's a lot of nutty people out there. There really is. And then me and Ken had one lady yelling from her window. It's nuts.
We were flying out by a park that's you face the water, but behind us was a fairly large apartment building, and we're flying, and suddenly this woman yells out, "Stop flying those drones and looking at me!"
Yeah.
And you said,
Who else
"Trust
does I
me,
feel like
we're
I'm
not."
in
So,
You
but
broke the
that
camera,
was,
lady.
that was our
Really,
experience.
really.
Hey,
Yes,
how about Lon's comment? Not to mention the hotel has security
Has
cameras all around
the pool.
That's true. That's
Yep.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay, well, with all this excitement, how long a time gap was this before I believe I got the story right, Ken. You lost a Mavic 3 Pro due to a bird strike.
That's right. That was that happened about 2 weeks later,
2 weeks ago,
or
yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We were flying at one of our favorite spots. The Hillsborough Inlet has a beautiful lighthouse there.
Oh, I love the shots from there. You guys do a great job down there.
It's also one of the oldest structures in Broward County.
Wow.
I think Jeff Norman told us that, and
Jeff Norman's here tonight.
Huh?
Jeff Norman's here tonight.
Good. I think he mentioned that the other day. Someone mentioned it, but anyway, I was of course flying towards the lighthouse, and we were there very early in the morning. And birds in South Florida or all parts of Florida, they tend to roost inland, and then if they're seabirds, they go out like when the sun starts coming out, they start heading out towards the whatever's out there, rocks or whatever.
And tell people that haven't been to Florida. Florida, almost every type of birds in Florida in the wintertime. They're all there.
Well,
all species.
These were definitely seagulls. These were
okay, yeah.
These were seagulls, and they were headed towards this big rock island that's kind of right off the inlet, and I didn't even see them. They just came out from behind me. I saw my strobe, one of my two strobes, flicking off the drone, and I said, "Whoa!" So, immediately said something's amiss, and then I saw the drone hit the water. So, yeah, I saw my display. It was going around and around like the toilet bowl.
Right.
And then I looked out and saw the drone hit the water. And there were some land photographers, which there often are over there because it's so beautiful. And they said, "Oh my God, your drone hit the water." What can you do? I kind of reacted. I was in shock, more or less.
Let me ask you, how high were you when the bird got the
Probably not that high, probably under 100.
See, that makes sense because a lot of times the drone will recover, right? I mean, if as long as it doesn't break an arm or a prop or.
This was a hard strike. This was a flock.
Okay.
This was not just one bird. This was a flock of seagulls. The proverbial flock.
Flock of seagulls. I remember that band.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
You had no time to hit the up stick and get above them.
Nothing. Like I said, they came from behind. Where I'm facing east, and they're coming from land from west.
Yeah,
and that's the pattern that our seabirds do.
But that's why we have Care Refresh, right, Ken?
Well, that was a little bit of an expense. It's not cheap.
So what did you do when you got home? You contacted DJI.
Contacted them right away, and I'm $730 lighter.
Holy guacamole!
Yeah.
Well, that's a Mavic 3 Pro. It's $690 plus tax to refresh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay.
But it's still better than paying $2,200 again. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a brand new Mavic, and the build is even a little bit different. I used to have trouble with the stupid SD card in the back, and I don't have that anymore. So the build is just a little bit different. It's
a refined build, a little bit better.
Ken, it's 730 with the flyaway or the refresh or
flyaway.
You buy the refresh, and then you have to pay if it's a flyaway. That's what they consider a bird strike.
Yeah,
a flyaway. It's not a mechanical issue. It's not a,
right.
Yeah,
right. So, like for instance, if that was sea fly, they'd probably tell you, sorry, Charlie. Probably another 232.
Yeah. So. They're great. Their turnaround is days. I mean, I had my UAV so fast.
Wow.
And that's one of the cool things about it is you get a drone back really quick too.
Really quick, and it just coincidentally, I still had Care Refresh on a 2.5-year-old Air 3. Air 2S,
Right.
and you know, it had a mechanical problem. They replaced it. So, you know, I have a new Air 2S that I've already used for almost 3 years. So
you had when you lost your Mavic 3 Pro, you had a backup drone in the Air 2S.
I had the Air 2S where I was flying that. And I also have an Autel. An
Okay.
Autel Evo Light Pro, which you know, it has its own problems.
So
Well,
yeah,
Marcus
I
is
have
an
the Light
Evo 2
Pro as
Pro.
well.
Well, you still are an Evo 2 Pro, right?
Pardon me?
Marcus, I believe, still has the Evo 2 Pro.
I have
No. Yeah,
the
sorry.
Autel Evo Light
Plus. Yeah.
Plus, that's what I have. I'm sorry, the Plus.
Yeah, no, it's hard to remember, Ken. I'm
hard
with
to remember these
you. It
names.
is these stupid names that they put on these.
In fact, I'm the one that had the Evo 2 Pro the first version.
It has a great camera. The Evo, the Evo, you know, has a wonderful camera. It just flies like a tank.
Yeah.
And the gimbal is so touchy.
It's all about the camera, isn't it, Ken? I mean,
the camera's unbelievable.
The camera is unbelievable, but your mini drone flies more powerfully and better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really does not fly well.
Yeah.
The Mavic, you know, going from a Mavic to the Autel, it's like going from a Cadillac to, like, you know, a jalopy.
Yeah. to like a Kia Telluride or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I said that for DeMarco. That's his.
No, that's a great car.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I almost bought one.
DeMarco will sell you one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got a Nissan Rogue.
So, Ken, after that strike, is you do anything differently now, or that was just one of those? Was just like a freak thing that?
Well, you know, listen. If you don't have a drone crash, I don't think you're flying.
Ron, he says he's going to start using a Start RC loudspeaker on there and saying, "Birds, get away, get away, get away."
No, I'm not going to be afraid of having another crash. I'm not going to be afraid of having another bird strike. You know, I love this hobby, and I'll always have drones, no matter what.
A recording
Good
of a hawk.
There you go.
Hey, that would do it.
What did you say? I missed that.
Well, if you have that speaker on your, your phone, they have a recording of a hawk. You know? Yeah.
A funny story, unrelated to drones, but related to hawks and seagulls. They have a seagull problem in Ocean City, New Jersey, Boardwalk Shore Town here. So in the summertime, they have hawks on patrol to keep the gulls down.
Wow.
I heard about that.
You'll see people with the hawks around, you know, on their arms and things, or whatever. It helps keep the gulls away because they don't like seeing the hawks around.
They are very afraid of those hawks.
I just
got a reason.
This is kind of a little bit on the top
more off target than hawks and seagulls.
Off of the hawks, but I just got a message from Lauren up in Canada. He's saying that Autel has lost their certification in Canada.
Well, that is true. I posted that story on the DroneNation Facebook group, and what it was is Canada had I don't know the wording, but they had like a category for drones. Like we'll say professional drones. That's not the right word. And all the companies that were on that list had to kind of recertify, and Autel ignored all the emails. DJI, they did their due diligence and whatever other companies did, but Autel ignored the emails from the Canadian, their version of the FFA, and now they're no longer certified as this like pro drone.
Oh, they have
can't sell, they can't fly.
There's Canadian chapters of the FFA.
Green
Hands, Future Farmers of America.
They can't sell, Ron.
Ron, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'm never going to not say that because my drums in my head. I grew up in a farming town.
I love you, brother.
Ron. So they can't sell them anymore, or they can't fly them anymore. People
well, I think they can't fly more. But can I just keep talking here and I'll try to pull the story up?
Yeah, you are going to keep talking, or DeMarco?
You guys keep talking. I'm going to try to pull the story.
Al, go, Al.
You guys have some coffee and talk.
We got to get Johnny on here. To talk.
Yeah. Well, no. So if we're talking about commercial drones, what I want to know is if you already say you somebody in Canada that does a lot of commercial drone work. If you've invested in Autel and in Autel commercial products, is it are you no longer grandfathered in? Can you just simply not use those drones anymore for commercial work? That would be bad.
Yeah.
Usually most of those laws have like, grandfather clause where you can continue to use them, until they are no longer usable.
Right.
I would think you'd think the Canadians would be sensible.
Well, boy, you'd be really mad if you had invested thousands.
You would.
Yeah.
You would.
Marcus, here's what I have so far. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat here. It's from Don Joyce, a popular YouTuber out of Canada. But here's kind of the headline. He explains on the video: Transport Canada removed a number of drones and drone systems from the list of RPAs. I don't know what RPAs is. Eligible for advanced operations recently. Let's discuss why and what the impact is. I'm going to come back here and drop the link in the chat here if I can.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that Autel ignored emails because that's what they always do.
Yeah, and I'm saying they ignored emails. Again, they just didn't respond to anything they said. But a lot of other companies listen. Oh, here, Richard made the comment here. Are bricked in Canada for enterprise use now? Yeah, it's interesting. It's like they're asleep at the wheel or whatever. This is their Evo 2 Pros. They're kind of enterprise level drone. So I believe of course, the more what do you call it, consumer drones, the Nano and the Lite are still okay.
You would think.
So yeah, that was an interesting story. So go watch Don Joyce's video. He explains it all in detail that only a Canadian can understand. I'm just joking, but yeah. So, well, listen, we have another interesting story here now. Marcus has been kind of working behind the scenes on this subject here, but Greg from Pilot Institute posted a very informative video last week or just recently on what's going on with the DJI Mini drones and remote ID. And he kind of cleared things up to me, but Marcus has done some testing that put even a couple amendments on what Greg was saying as far as it depends on what battery you use and what drones to get through. So what Greg was trying to say from Pilot Institute, if you've been watching the show the past couple weeks, we've been talking about this, and there's always a bit of misinformation just because it's so many moving parts of the story. But Greg was saying that if you take the Mini 3, that's the plain Jane Mini 3, not the Pro, if you put the standard battery in it, it will not broadcast remote ID. And if you put the plus battery in, it will. And that's the same story on the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Standard battery won't broadcast remote ID, plus battery will. But Marcus found out, and I think you have the video. I think you got the video out already. If you slap the battery in from the Mini 3 Pro, and the Mini 3 Pro is unaffected by these firmware updates. It still acts the way it always did before. But if you slap the Mini 3 standard battery in the Mini 4, it will not broadcast remote ID either. Is that true, Marcus?
Yeah. So I'll start from the top. If you have a DJI Mini 3 Pro, no matter what battery you put in that drone, whether it's the standard battery or the plus battery, it will broadcast remote ID. So a Mini 3 Pro is always going to broadcast remote ID. And if you're
and just to stop you for a second, that drone got that ability sometime within probably the first 3 or 4 months that it was out. It got the remote ID added.
Now understand that it's only certified remote ID with the FAA with the plus battery. So if you're going to do commercial work and you've got the drone properly registered as a remote ID drone, I would say use the plus battery and forget the standard batteries. The drone is going to perform better with that anyway. Now, if you were somebody that the only drone you have, you're a hobby flyer, all you have is that Mini 3 Pro, and all you have is the standard battery, you still don't need to register it as a remote ID drone, even though it will be broadcasting a remote ID signal, no matter what you do, because it's sub 250, you're fine. In fact, because it's sub 250 with the standard, you wouldn't even have to put a sticker on it if you didn't want to. I would hope that you do, but you don't have to. Now, what they changed recently with a firmware update is with the standard Mini 3, not the Mini 3 Pro. The standard Mini 3, if you, and I suspect that they did this because it's considered more of an entry-level product. I don't know. But if you put the standard battery in the Mini 3, it will not broadcast a remote ID signal. And I tested that. I did a video on it. I tested it. I used the drone scanner app with my, luckily have a Google phone available, a Pixel 6. And drone scanner works on Android, does not work on iOS, for anybody that doesn't know. In any case, I tested it with the standard battery and the plus battery, and it's exactly as DJI describes. It will broadcast remote ID with the plus battery, and in that case, you better have it registered as a remote ID drone. You need to, whether you're a hobbyist or Part 107, you still have to register it as a remote ID drone at that point if you're using the plus battery. Now, if all you're ever using is the standard battery, you don't need to register it. You don't need to do anything. You don't even need to put a sticker on it if you don't want to.
That's the only battery you own. You're good. Yeah.
Exactly right. Now, again, they skipped over the Mini 3 Pro. It's going to broadcast remote ID no matter what. But the Mini 4 Pro, if you use the standard battery, will not broadcast remote ID. But if you use the plus battery, it will. Now, I went out to test this, right? I went out to the Snake River Canyon because I wanted to fly it out a ways and test the distance that drone scanner would detect remote ID. And I'll just give you a little spoiler right now. Drone scanner will detect remote ID farther than I was comfortable flying the drone.
Wow.
So
wow.
So there's that.
Wow.
And
that'll only work on an Android phone, though, right?
It only works on Android. Yeah.
Android, yeah.
That's really surprising. Wow.
I was kind of amazed too. That was kind of part of my test. I thought, shoot, it's going to get a couple.
Because we're going to get something that works on Bluetooth.
Well, I think DJI remote ID is Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was Autel.
This little guy right here, this Holy Stone module, is Bluetooth.
Right.
I have one of those.
Okay. So, but here's what I did. I did not have the standard battery for the Mini 4 Pro. And I thought, well, the standard battery is a standard battery, right? And I had a couple of them. I had one from my Mini 3, one from my Mini 3 Pro. So I charged one up, took it with me, put that standard battery in it, flew the Mini 4 Pro out, and lo and behold, it was broadcasting remote ID. I'm going, well, what's going on here? This shouldn't happen. And in conversation with the people at the Pilot Institute, there's a difference between the standard battery for the Mini 3 and for the Mini 4 Pro. So if you use a standard Mini 3 battery in your Mini 4 Pro, you're going to be over 250 grams.
I was going to say, wasn't that always the story that the Mini 3 battery put the Mini 4 over the 250 grams?
Lon, I remember that from way back, but I'd forgotten all about it. But that's exactly right. So DJI correctly says that if you put that standard battery from the Mini 3 in there, you're over 250 grams, and it's going to broadcast remote ID. Now, the difference is also that DJI also warns you that if you use the standard battery from the Mini 3 or the Mini 3 Pro in the Mini 4, the drone is not going to perform as well. So there's some differences there. I don't know exactly what they are, but I know that's kind of a long story, but there's so many people flying those mini drones. You need to be able to understand all those nuances.
Yeah. And there's people upset on both sides. And the simple answer is, if you want to fly Part 107 and register drone, do all that, just fly with the plus battery, and you're good. If you don't want to fly, if you don't want to broadcast remote ID, you're not a Part 107, you're not registered, then fly the standard battery on the Mini 3 or the Mini 4 Pro.
Well, you could fly the standard battery even on the Mini 3 Pro, and I think it's still going to broadcast remote ID, but I don't think you're required. You're not, because it's sub 250.
Yeah,
You're not required to register.
Right, but that kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah. Most of the guys, everybody on this panel, I think, or maybe not DeMarco, we're all Part 107. So the whole thing about flying unregistered and not remote ID is not in our agenda. But we'll get to DeMarco here in a minute.
He just took his trust certificate.
We'll put him on the hot seat here in a minute. So that's not even our wheelhouse anymore. But there are many people in the community that their number one goal flying a drone is not to register and not to fly remote ID. And
let me just say something, Ron.
Yes,
you know, as soon as you turn any one of our drones on, if you go to your Wi-Fi settings on your phone, it's showing broadcasting remote ID.
Oh, on the phone.
Yeah.
On your phone.
I didn't think of that, Al. That's
yes, it does.
In the fly app,
I can tell when I fly with Ray, and I can tell when I fly with Ken, and when these guys send it up and I go to, set somebody's Wi-Fi up to get them going, they're broadcasting remote ID. Their drones are showing their.
You're in the settings app on the phone.
Yeah, it's showing your settings.
Go to your Wi-Fi settings. Yes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys. So the other thing that gets me is looking at the Fly app. The only time that I can tell the phone is or the drone is broadcasting remote ID in the Fly app is when you first fire it up and the drone is on the ground. And it says something like remote ID operating normally or something like that.
Right.
But once you're in the air, I can't find anywhere in the app that says
away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you go to your settings on your phone, your Wi-Fi settings, it'll show it right there. Your serial number and it's RID.
Wow, that's a good call out. I'll have to
check it out the next time you fly. Just
as well as the Autel. It also shows up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Bill Grace has got a question for DeMarco.
No.
Well, and let's go to DeMarco now. DeMarco is a trust pilot here, but he's not Part 107. He's not a commercial flyer. DeMarco, do you own a mini drone?
I do. I own the Mini 3 Pro.
Mini 3 Pro. Okay, now when we fly that, of course, you're going to be broadcast remote ID no matter what battery you have. Now, when you fly a drone like that and you're not a Part 107, is one of your goals not to broadcast remote ID or?
I really don't care.
Good answer. Good answer.
I mean, hey, until something happens, until somebody knocks on my door or asks about it or something like that. Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I own 2 standard batteries and 3 plus batteries, and I mostly fly with the plus batteries. Yeah.
So if you fly,
not that it matters, but
so you have it registered as a remote ID drone, though, correct?
No. Mm-mm.
You need to. You need to.
Yeah. No, in fact, I haven't flown my Mini 3 since probably October. So
yeah. So just for people that don't know, that's something that's changed on the FAA drone zone. If you were just a recreational pilot, you didn't have to list all your drones on an inventory of drones. Now that you have remote ID, you do. You have to list them on there, and you have to put that remote ID serial number in there.
Or his second option could be just sell all those plus batteries, and they wouldn't have to do that.
No.
Yeah, except for why. I mean,
yeah, but I'm just saying for somebody,
that's
somebody that's their main concern, they could just sell the plus batteries, and they still would not have to register for remote ID.
Yeah,
like we always say this is so confusing. So even if something did happen, you can always play dumb, and most people will. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, to your point, most people don't know that, DeMarco, right?
And there's probably all the law enforcement don't know anything about it.
And that's the other point. Exactly.
And to DeMarco's point, I'm talking about this, and I don't have a clear 100% understanding of it, let alone somebody new to the hobby. So they're making rules and regs up that you have to almost be a you have to be almost a master to understand all this
You're
stuff.
going to have to take an FAA inspector out with you when you fly.
Yeah.
That's
As far as registering your drones and all that stuff for RID, Pilot Institute has a great video on that. Tells you exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Really good. It's like 10 months old. So you have to kind of search. But
Ken, once you throw the wrinkle in of this remote ID on the mini drones, depending on which battery, that complicates it by like a factor of 10 or whatever. Because you got to figure what mini drone do I have? What battery do I have? Am I registered? Am I not registered? You know, I'd hate to be a mini drone owner that wasn't a Part 107 that was trying to figure all this out or whatever. It's gotten kind of crazy. Now, what it has done is, and Greg alludes this to his video, and I'm going to throw another tidbit in out of place here. Greg also said in the video that basically the cheapest remote ID module is about $89 or whatever, or something like that, and the plus battery for the mini drones are about the same price. You say instead of getting a remote ID module, just get a plus battery if you want to fly remote ID. But what DJI done is, as you alluded to, Marcus, they've carved out a way for people, for hobbyists who don't want to register and don't want to fly remote ID. That's their two main goals. They've carved the space out for those people now. But what they've done is they've upset people that own people that want to fly Part 107, want to register, but they own a whole bunch of standard batteries.
Hey, I want to answer Gary's question here. So Gary, I know you're going to be coming down to Florida for the South Florida Drone Meetup. Super, super easy, and you're gonna want to do it. You just go to the FAA's website. I think there's a way you can register as a foreign pilot. It's still only $5.
Yeah. Drone zone or
yeah, the FAA drone zone. It's only $5 to register.
All your drones.
And then you just put you have to put your drone serial number. I couldn't think of serial number.
Yeah,
the serial number in there for remote ID, and then you'll get assigned a tail number for that drone, and just take your label maker and slap that tail number on there, and you'll be 100% legal in the U.S. And oh, by the way, just like my friend DeMarco here, you do have to take that trust test, but the trust test is easy to do.
It's picking on you, DeMarco.
Well, DeMarco,
I don't know why.
DeMarco, no, we pick on each other a lot. DeMarco's one of my best friends in the whole world. But we've got Steve and Terry coming over from Europe, and they already did it. I walked them through all that registration. They're all registered. Their drones are their remote ID drones that they're bringing, so they're going to be broadcasting. They registered them correctly, and they've got their numbers on there. Super, super easy to do. It's really easy for foreigners to come into the U.S. and legally fly.
Mark, you see, Gary said his drone is already registered with the FAA, but now he's got to go back in there and put the updated serial number for the remote ID, right?
That's it. So that's what you'd have to do, Gary, because you have to register it as a remote ID drone. And you used to be able to edit your registration. I don't know if you can still do that or not.
You up until a couple of weeks ago, you could. Ken says he couldn't the other day when he was.
Yeah, so you might have to register it all over again. Yeah. That no big deal.
You know, somebody just brought up.
The newer drone don't just pop the correct remote serial ID in there, anyways.
Yeah, somebody just brought up a good point. You know, I remember when the minis first came out. You know, 249, 250, and as soon as you put a strobe on that thing, it brought you over the 250, 250 grams. And somebody just brought it up, and I don't know who it was. It went on there too quick.
Richard.
So it's and that's another thing. Who is going to weigh the drone? Who's
That's exactly right.
That's what I used to tell everybody. I said, you honestly think somebody's going to come and weigh the drone?
I think the only guy's got to scale the way the drone is the security guard over at the Hard Rock.
No. Listen, I see FAA cops all over. When I go out here to the park, and whenever they get out of the car, they got a little scale with them.
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll get the what do you call the narcs? They have those the drug scales.
Yeah, the drug scales for kilos.
Yeah.
That scale is flapping on their belt
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they carry it just like other cops do handcuffs. They carry it with tail.
Slapping on the belt.
Unbelievable.
Anyhow, I hope that clears some people up on what's going on with these mini drones, or I hope we didn't confuse even more. But I have Greg from Pilot Institute's video linked in DroneNation Facebook group. Check it out, and then just remember what Marcus told you about using the wrong battery with the wrong drone can create unexpected results.
Okay, and I want to make one more comment. It is in all of our best interest to make remote ID in its current form work.
Exactly. Else they'll make it worse.
It could be so much more restrictive than it is.
Yes.
So all these guys saying, "Oh, I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to register." Well, you know what? You could end up ruining the hobby for everybody else.
If you're flying legal and you're flying, by the rules, what's the problem?
What's the problem?
That's what I don't understand.
Remote ID hasn't changed the way I fly.
Exactly.
1 inch.
No.
Nothing.
No.
You should tell that security guard you had remote ID.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you're not looking to do a top-down shot on Usher, you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Let's see. Richard's got something here. If there's an accident in your drone, you will be weighed. Yeah, but wait a minute, Richard.
Find the drone.
Right. That is
the mini drone. When it comes down, there'll be nothing left of it to weigh.
Right. And I assume somebody shows up on site or whatever after the crash or whatever. Like if you just crash a mini drone into like a side of a barn, nobody's going to show up and wait on site.
No.
And don't forget, it's not the cost of the drone that's included in the crash. It's the cost of the other,
right, the damage of what you
property,
did.
right.
Yeah.
What you,
Yeah.
Huh. So so that was some good stories tonight. Again, just want to say I feel bad about your drone, Ken, but I'm glad you were able to get it replaced at somewhat of a reasonable cost as compared to buying it all over again.
That's for sure.
So, and if your drone being hit by a bird's like being struck by lightning, you're probably good for a long time.
I hope so.
And you guys are both
fingers crossed.
You guys are both going to be at the South Florida Drone Meetup in April 6th at Jensen Beach, right?
Yes, I will. We will be there.
So anybody that's coming attending that day, you can stop by the booth and get Al and Ken's autographs.
Oh yeah. Like
I think Ray's only charging $5 this year.
Mine is free.
Well, free for maybe an hour or something. Then we got to go back to charging again. I'll be during the lunch hour. So how's the weather been down in South Florida? A lot of videos I see you guys out. You guys got the jackets and the gear on.
Good morning.
Yeah, now today it's 85 degrees.
Yeah, it's warm again.
Oh boy.
But it's been very windy. Today the winds were crazy.
Winds were real bad.
They were about 20, 30 miles an hour gusts.
Yeah.
So
not good for drone flyers.
No, Wednesday's supposed to be nice, so
yeah.
We should have
coming
into
day. Nice weather.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I know when I was in Florida last year, it was almost 80 every day,
Yep. This year got a little cool for a while.
Yeah.
We'll do a live from Wednesday.
Oh yeah, we always do a live. And if Ray was there, he would be taking pictures of our breakfast. So.
and the waitress.
And the waitress.
Wednesday's the day you're going to fly the Hard Rock again?
No,
Friday.
me Ken. Actually, Ken Hofbauer is coming down. We're all meeting up.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, Kenny.
Yeah, Ken is going to be down, and so it'll be Ken, Kenny G, myself,
and another
Ken Nider, and also TJ. And also Maddie.
So Ken's coming all the way down from where the Fountain of Youth and all is. What's that town called? St. Augustine. Yeah.
Right. He's coming down with a trailer. He's staying in a camper.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
DeMarco, is that Florida State, Ken?
Yes, it is.
We got to plug Florida. We got to plug Florida State in before the show's over.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Ray Kelly had surgery today, but he still has his sense of humor. He's in.
Oh yes, he does.
And he still gets the award. He had major surgery, and he's been in the show the whole time. So kudos
Yes, he has.
to Captain
Who
Ray.
gets the award?
Yeah.
Of course, what kind of medication is he on right now for pain?
Ray is the first person who watches our show with a catheter in. Hey.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Ray is just taking Tylenol.
And you guys wonder why I make fun of DeMarco.
Do we know what hospital Ray's in?
No, actually, no, I don't. He'll probably
Mommy
tell you
Charles?
now. As soon as
It's
you ask
on the
that
down
question.
low. It's a secret, yeah.
They
Yeah,
have
that's
good
gonna be a
they have
secret
good internet.
spot.
They have good internet at that hospital.
But that's true. But Captain Ray's an undercover cop, so
Right. Well, this is going to be his next secret spot.
Yeah. Room 101 on the rehab board.
Hey, Hike and Fly is saying that he just added it to his registration as a hobby pilot. So just added it to his inventory.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to have to excuse myself because I got to get up early tomorrow morning.
We held you
I
too
would
long
love to
already,
stay.
Al. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for telling your story, and we're proud
Thank
of
you
the
for
way
having
you
us.
handled yourself out there and the way you did all your due diligence. And credit to the community.
I thank you. Thank you very much. Ken, I'll see you on Wednesday. The rest
You
of you
bet. I'll
guys,
talk to you before.
Yeah.
I'm
flying
gonna
them
leave too.
high and safe.
I'm gonna leave too because my wife just came back in the house, and
Yeah, Ken, same thing. Thanks for coming on.
My
Helping
pleasure.
tell Al's
Kenny.
story
Nice
and
meeting
then telling your story. Enjoyed having you on. Look forward to seeing you guys in about 2 months.
See
had
you
a
guys
great
in Florida.
time.
Can't
Thank you.
wait. Can't wait.
Thank you. All right. Good night,
Be
everybody.
safe.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
One other quick story from before we let you guys go today. This is kind of related to microphones here, and you guys know the DJI Mic 2 just came out a little while ago. And a lot of people purchased the mic already, and but they have a competitor, Rode wireless Pro mics, have been out for a while now before the Mic 2s, but they went on sale for the first time just recently for $360. Now it's still a little bit above the Mic 2 at $349, but this brings the gap down to $11. I don't know how long that sale will last. So, and some people prefer the mic pros, the Rode mic wireless pros. But here's a little power tip for you users out there. You guys ready, Marcus, DeMarco?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, a lot of people think that the Rode ones, the Rode Pros sound better or whatever, but here's a little hack. Go into your settings for the DJI Mic 2, and by default out of the box, what do they call that clipping things on that low pass filters on by default, and that low pass filter is to filter out some background noise or something like that. But if you want your mic to sound the absolute best as possible can, turn that low pass filter off. Like if you're in the house doing a talking head, you don't need the low pass on. You don't have car noise or whatever, and that kind of helps bring the Mic 2 up to the same level as the Rode by turning off that low pass. Or I believe you turn it off from the transmitters and not the receiver, but I'm already not 100% sure about that. Or maybe you could do it either way. So just a power tip there: turn the low pass off filter if you don't absolutely need it at all times. It's easy to turn back on again if you do. So. That's all we got in the agenda tonight, fellas. Anything else that you guys would like to discuss? DeMarco, any stories you'd like to bring up or comments about anything tonight?
So, great show, boys, as usual.
Thank you. Thank you for that. You got Marcus?
Same here, Ron. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the weather to get a little better so I could get out and fly more. It's still a little bit cold, plus it's cloudy, so the lighting isn't that good or anything. But yeah, get out there and fly drones and have fun.
Yeah, and fellas, I know we don't have a whole lot of new drone news this time of year. It's a slow time of year, kind of doldrums or whatever. But it was good to have a couple guys on that has some good drone stories to tell. I mean, you don't always have to have a new drone. A lot of the old drones are flying perfectly. You can get all the footage and video you need from some of the current drones. But hopefully, in the coming months, we'll get some new drones. We come out and we'll have some stories to tell you guys. In the meantime, we're going to just try to keep you busy with stories of people in the community and maybe updates and things like that. But I do want to thank everybody who joined us today. Especially, I want to thank Ray Kelly, who joined us from the hospital bed or whatever, on the hospital Wi-Fi. And I hope he has a speedy and as pain-free as possible recovery from the hip. Now, I mean, you guys have all seen Ray the past couple of years. Ray kind of walks around with a limp already. So, there was almost no down thing to this or whatever, because he's already walking with a limp anyway. So let's hopefully he can he'll be getting rid of that limp soon. So and be in less pain.
Yeah.
And I have major announcement too, guys. I got surgery coming up.
Uh-oh. What,
Old
bro?
man surgery. I went to the eye doctor's Friday. I got a cataract in the left eye. I got a floater.
Ooh.
So I already
laser
told
surgery? Is it laser?
I think so. I already told the woman that's coordinator. I said, "Now I got a big meetup coming up in beginning of April. And she said, we can have you all fixed up before then."
Ron, we could probably get you one of those Braille controllers.
And can you get me one of those walking canes or whatever, and make sure I don't like walk off the edge there at the meetup into the drink. If I do, I can look for the Autel.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, I got to get running here too, Ron.
Well, let's get everybody out of here. We wish everybody a happy week. Fly safe out there. Come back next Monday. I don't know who the guest is, but it could be somebody good, right?
Always.
Like Johnny Drone Flyer?
Always.
It could be Johnny. And the thing is, the good news for DeMarco is no more football picks for a long time, right?
Thank God.
What about Eddie? When do we? I just see Eddie in the chat.
Eddie, we got to get Eddie back on the show.
Yeah.
Hey,
Eddie's going to Puerto Rico pretty soon, so we got to get him back on before he he goes to the islands or whatever. So Eddie, I'm going to hit you up tomorrow, buddy. We need to get you back on. Eddie's got a lot to talk about. He switched from I believe Adobe Premiere to Final Cut recently, Marcus.
Well, I need to know more about Final Cut Pro.
You switched to Final Cut recently.
Well, I want to. I haven't.
You're in the process.
In the process. Who's getting to be a popular drone show guest is Lon Dennard. I hear he's going to be on.
We need to get Lon. Hasn't been in a long time. We need to get Lon lined up.
Yeah, he is going to be on one of the probably the most popular drone show of the week this coming Wednesday, I believe.
Right? Yeah.
And he's got double duty because he's back on Monkey's show now. So we have a hard time getting Lon back up or whatever. I bet you his price is going up for guesting.
That could be. Fly for Fun show on Wednesday. Lon is
Pro Giant Drone Flyer and Captain Ray be on Wednesday from the hospital.
Well, we're hoping so.
Yeah.
Why not? He'll be home.
And Rains will be way up with Lon on there, so he better be, right?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Good night, and we'll see you next week. Be safe. Let me find this end stream button.
Come on, DeMarco.
It's ending.